uncut and unscripted. Yesterday, folks, after celebrating my mom's 70th birthday by taking her to the A's and Giants game in Oakland and finishing it up at my oldest sister's back in Patterson, it was during that time that we were at my sister's that I decided to kind of look my phone over and kind of check my Facebook, upload some pictures and videos from the game and from the celebration in Oakland that we did for my mom. And wouldn't you know it, one of the first things I see when I go to Facebook is courtesy of some of the Facebook group pages, and it's of the fact that, well, we were all worried that China and Australia would basically be the ones to beat us to the punch when it came to completing season 9 / the final season of Friendship is Magic. Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore, because apparently the Netherrealms decided to take that old or current meme that we see on the internet of, one person saying, "Oh, look what I did. I'm so great at everything. This is cool. I did this." And then that meme that I'm talking about has a picture that follows it up by someone saying, "Here. Oh, you think you did good? Here, hold my beer. I'll show you how it's done." Basically something like that. Because that's essentially what the Netherlands, Dutchland, if you will, did over the weekend, if not yesterday. Pretty much, they decided to dump or upload online through the on-demand service not only the majority, if not most, of season 9, the final season, but also the rest of the final episodes, including the ending of the end, part 1 and 2, and the last problem, which is the finale episode, and it's the epilogue episode, and does something that a lot of fans could be a fan of and not particularly a fan of when a series does things like this. And to say that the fans were not too thrilled at some of the things they saw because of this, because there are those that even though they can't understand the language, know people that can somewhat translate it and get a good idea of what's going on. They weren't too thrilled about some of the things that were revealed. For example, there's a bit of an example here. Okay. There's a bit of an example. There's a moment that takes place in the finale episode. Well, actually, it's the whole episode as a whole, but there's a moment that centers around the whole episode that fans were not particularly fond of. And again, like I said, it's the kind of thing that no fan wants to see in a series whatsoever. Especially a series like Friendship is Magic. But anyway, with that said, I'm going to give you a bit of a warning here. There's going to be some small spoilers, not much. So if you don't want to listen to the spoilers, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to turn the volume down. Okay? 5 seconds starting right now for you to turn the volume down so you don't have to listen to the spoilers or anything if you don't want them. And then I'll put up the signal, which will be the thumbs up, to turn the volume back up. So, anyway, 5 seconds starting now. If you don't want to hear any potential spoilers. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have been warned. And if you still have the volume up, you probably have already seen the episodes or have an idea of what's going on. Or you're just curious as to what's going on, period. And you're going to watch it either way. Either it's in another language or it's in English. So, anyway, getting back on topic, and I know I repeated myself just moments ago because I was distracted because my computer was loading something here, doing an update, I guess, or working on it. Anyway, like I said, there were some things that took place in this episode that fans were not particularly fond of, or in these last 3 episodes. And just to give you the bullet points on it, the two-parter reveals that Grogar is not who he seems to say he is. As a matter of fact, we find out that Grogar is actually Discord. And the reason this is because Discord put this all together to give Twilight and her friends a test to show how strong they are in the bond, even as they get ready to rule Equestria, mostly Twilight that is, to the point that not only do they showcase how strong the bond is, but they show it in even the worst of situations. And to say that from what someone translated, the characters were not too happy, that being the main 7 and the princesses, is an understatement. It really is. It really is an understatement. The other thing that happens at the end of the two-parter is the fate of the villains. And the villains end up being turned to stone, just like Discord was at one point. And although people might say, oh, that's a fitting punishment for the likes of Chrysalis and T-Rex, seeing as though they won't be reformed no matter what, it was what happened with Cozy Glow. Cozy Glow ended up suffering the same fate. Basically, they were all turned to stone simultaneously into one statue. So basically, Cozy Glow now is petrified, if you will. And even though some people might argue that she deserves something like this as well, due to the fact of the things she did, and I think there's a moment in part 1 where she gets turned into a big monster, I guess revealing her true form maybe, I don't really know. Even though people might, like I said, argue the fact that she does deserve something like this, it's still, I think, upsetting to a lot of people out there that you're taking essentially a child and saying, hey, we're going to make you a child forever as a statue, and whenever you get released, you'll still be a child, and hopefully you've learned your lesson. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, take it as you will, but yeah, not a lot of people were happy with the fact that Cozy Glow suffered the same fate as Chrysalis and T-Rex, basically, being turned into a petrified statue. I think the other thing that some fans did not like about it, and although we haven't heard them say anything yet, is if they were capable of doing this the whole time, why didn't they do this to the villains in the past? Why didn't they do this to T-Rex? Why didn't they do this to Chrysalis? Why didn't they do this to, after they freed Stygian, why didn't they do this to the Pony of Shadows? Stuff like that. And they all have some, valid arguments. They really do. But then we get to the final episode, which is the last problem. And there are people that, like I said earlier, and I know I'm repeating it for a third time, that are not particularly fond of a show, going this route with its finale. And that's an episode that takes place 5 to 20 years in the future. Oh, in my opinion, 5 years. Wheel Guide, or not Wheel Guide, but Rushing, somebody on the MLP forums basically indicated that it took place 20 years. I would say 5. Just to be on the safe end. But anyway, yeah, not a lot of fans were particularly fond of the fact that they went this route. Another thing that I think they were not particularly fond of was the ships that were basically canonized. I mean, the ships that were canonized, in fact, if I can pull it up here for a second. If I can pull it up here, hold on. But the ships that were canonized, again, if I can find it here. Here we go. Were Pinky and Cheese Sandwich, because when Pinky showed up, she had a daughter with her. That's a wrong number there. But she had a daughter with her. It was basically, I think, called Cheese Pie or something. I don't really know. The other one was Sambar and Yona, because we find out that Rarity gave ownership or control of one of her Canterlot boutique to them. And then speaking of Rarity, we kind of get an indication that they're together. That being Spike and Rarity, because there's a moment in the song, I'll try to find the picture, post it up here, where she's looking up at a Spike in a loving way. Not like, oh, hi Spike, how you doing? Nice to be next to you and all that. No. It's a very loving way. She even bats her eyes a little bit. So there's an indication there, an indication confirmation, if you will, that those two are an item. Even though some might point out, well, Spike showed up before she did. Doesn't mean that, look, that doesn't really mean anything. You know what I'm saying? And then some people might point out that Applejack looked at Spike too, but I'll get into that in a moment. Because even though that could have been like a little Easter egg towards Apple Spike fans, it was mostly the way Rarity looked at him. And like I said, it's pretty much, I think, indication, confirmation that these two are an item. But speaking of items, we also had Fluttershy and Discord confirmed. Because Fluttershy, when she showed up, basically came out of a Discord portal. So she's together with him. We had confirmation of Applejack and Rainbow Dash, because they both arrived at the same time, and in the final scene that we see is Rainbow Dash's hoof over Applejack's head. So there's an LGBTQ ship that fans, I guess, have been wanting to see, and it's now been made official. And then you had, of course, Lyra and Bonbon, which finally a lot of fans were hoping for. And there is a scene that somebody, I think it was Malunimus, used as a thumbnail in their video talking about this, that indicates in the back that it's a legit scene, that in the background it's I think Bonbon or Lyra that's proposing to the other. And then of course obviously you had Big Mac and Sugar Belle, and they have a kid. And then you have Starlight and Sunburst, we're assuming. And then finally Austailla and Smolder, another LGBTQ one. So yeah, basically those ships being pretty much confirmed, and if not intentionally or initially canonized in the series, especially with the finale. Yeah, those are, I think, part of the reasons some people were not too thrilled with this episode. Not just the fact that it's an episode that takes place in the future, which helps tell the story of, Twilight's coronation in the current timeline, but I think it's also the fact that you had these ships being made official and they weren't too thrilled about it. So, yeah, even though those were some of the things fans didn't like, there were some good things. I mean, the last episode, despite how you might feel about it, most will agree it was good, even though most of it took place in the future. It was good. They liked the emotional send-off. They liked the aftermath, basically seeing how the characters progressed in the future, what their status was. They did like the epic battle at the end of part 2, and you've seen all the characters that have befriended or aligned themselves with the main 7 come together and help them defeat help them defeat T-Rex, Crystallis, and Cozy Glow, which includes, believe it or not, we've been wanting it, Tempest Shadow. Minus Emily Blunt, Tempest Shadow showed up. So yes, Tempest Shadow showed up. You had some unicorns use their magic to shield and protect and save the main 7. Those include Minuet and I think that organizing pony. I can't think of a name right now. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, a lot of fans did find some good moments in there, in the finales and in all 3 episodes. Again, I'm not saying there was anything bad. There wasn't. So anyway, with that said though, there was one other thing that caught my attention about this sudden dump, as some people put it, or uploading of episodes courtesy of the Netherlands on-demand service. It was the reaction that, again, the people that didn't like what they saw, or they didn't like the results they were getting, it was the reaction they had, or at least some of them had, towards Jim Miller and the rest of the creative staff. To the point that Jim Miller said, screw this right now. I'm going to go into private mode until the series is officially over, on his Twitter account, and I think some of his social media accounts. And he did just that. And then I guess under his advisement or request, the rest of the creative staff have done the same thing. Because according to what I'm reading, the people that didn't like what they saw, they didn't like how the show ended, were sending death threats, threatening, well, I wouldn't say they were sending death threats, but they were sending threats of harm or hacking or something like that, all because the show ended in a way or did things in a way that they didn't like. I mean, yeah, I'll agree. The hype for Grogar, the hype and the build-up for Grogar was great. So I can understand maybe a part of the disappointment that it was all revealed to be a ruse by Discord to get Twilight and her friends ready to not only rule Equestria, but to face the worst, even at the worst of times. So, yeah. That's happened, and I can't blame Jim Miller or the creative staff for wanting to block out, or go into the silent mode or private mode on the social media accounts. I can't. Because honestly, if you're going to get upset about them, about the fact that, the show didn't end the way I wanted it, or, they officially made these ships that I didn't want to see happen. No! Dawn them to Hades! We must get them! Or whatever. Can you blame Jim Miller? Can you blame Nicole Dubuque? Can you blame Megan McCarthy? Can you blame Gail Simone? Can you blame Christine and Joanne, the lady writers? Can you blame any of them? Can you blame Josh Haber? Any of them for doing that? Of course not. Because they're all having the same reaction. The reaction is, look, this is a show. At the end of the day, it's a cartoon, an animated show originally meant for little kids that just happened to blow up and become a pop culture phenomenon for all ages, mostly adults. Mostly adults that could sit back and enjoy something when there's not really much on at times. And look, here's the fact. Not every show is perfect. Just because sometimes a show is 75, 80%, decent and good, if not perfect most of the time, doesn't mean the finale is going to be living up to those same standards. I mean, honestly, this was basically an epilogue. This was basically the characters looking back and remembering, the event, the coronation event for Twilight, and how she went through a similar situation that her current student, can't think of the name right now, is kind of going through. So they decide to tell her the story. And it's a laid back, look, they just went through a battle, they just went through heck, stuff like that. This is more like a chillaxing kind of thank you episode. That's what it is. 200 was a thank you episode in a sense to the actresses. 100 was a thank you episode to the fans. This finale is a thank you episode to the fans as well. That's why it was presented the way it was. We may not agree, not many will agree with the future setting. But you know what? How else are you going to tell a story like that, huh? And it gives you an indication that it is a storybook-like scenario. Because again, the book closes with the last thing we see is a picture of them, and that's it. Just like it opened. So, again, these fans need to understand that not all shows are going to be perfect. I mean, Game of Thrones should have gave us an example of the fact that fans could be angry for a while that the finale didn't go the way they wanted, but in the end that anger just simmers down. It's just, it just simmers down, and then they start realizing, you know what? We live in a day and age now to where we can make the ending the way we want ourselves. May not be a big budget one, but we can still do it. Either through fan fiction, fan film, whatever. And and that's the same could be said here. And by the okay, so now you just saw the thumbs up. Basically, you can turn up the volume now. But anyway, like I said, the same could be said here. If they want a more proper ending to MLP we have seen pretty much people be able to put together animations, if you will, storyboards, animations, whatever, motion comics, whatever, of how they see certain series going. I mean, again, a good example, the people at Season Animated, which is here on YouTube. They have a YouTube page and a Patreon page. They are on the verge of trying to animate and bring to life the long-lost Season 3 that the late Ben Hurst, who was one of the lead writers of the second season, wanted to see happen. So now they're doing what they can to make it a reality, and they have little work in progress, videos and all that to give you the idea that that's what they're trying to accomplish. So if they're willing to go out of the way, get people's support to do that, then fans that may not be thrilled with the ending here, especially the last episode, can go out and do the same thing. If they feel, oh, I could do a better ending than this, then do it. Prove it then. But anyway, getting back to the topic here. Yeah, basically the episodes did get released early online, courtesy of the Netherlands/Dutchland on-demand video service and cable channels, or cable services. And here we thought China and Australia would beat us to it. Nope. Netherlands, like I said at the beginning, took that meme of, someone saying, look, see, I did this. See, I proved to be the best at this. And then the following picture shows someone said, oh, really? Here, hold my beer. Bam. Hold my beer while I show you how it's done. Bam, something like that. So, anyway, if you're not too thrilled, you may not be too thrilled about this, and there are people that are going to tell you to avoid the internet. There are going to be people, already you got clips and everything of, clips from the episodes already surfacing online. You already got download links and everything, so it's going to be hard to avoid. It really is. But the way I look at it is fans are still going to tune in and want to watch the episodes when they premiere in their country officially. Like here in the U.S., fans are still going to want to watch the Discovery Family one. I will. Even though I may download the English versions of the early releases later on and put them onto a DVD, courtesy of Windows DVD Maker, doesn't mean I'm not going to record the rest of the season. Because that's what I'm planning. I'm planning to DVR the rest of the season and record it onto DVD. That's my plan. That is my plan. That's what I'm currently doing right now. In fact, later on today, I'm planning to put Somerset back onto DVD because it's DVR'd. I couldn't do it yesterday because, like I said, we had my mom's birthday to celebrate. But anyway, again, a lot of people are not too thrilled with the ending. With the ending, I will put it that way for those that saw the clips, saw the episodes, even though they couldn't understand them. And mostly, some people are not really happy with the fact that the Netherlands dumped them early. So, what are you going to do? Honestly, I've said this before. I think Hasbro, what they need to do the next time they do a series like this, like with Generation 5, I think Hasbro needs to put in a little bit of a stipulation in the contracts that state, Australia, China, UK, Canada, you cannot air these episodes until the US does, so wait your turn. Or wait till that time. That's what they need to do. So, but anyway, hopefully this will get addressed, and maybe Dr. Wolf, maybe Anthropony, somebody will talk about it on their channel, and we'll go from there. So let me know what you all think, though, down below. Comment if you like. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. And I will talk to you all later. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for taking your time with this video. I know it's about 25 minutes long. I do apologize. But again, like I said at the beginning, it's uncut and unscripted. So let me know what you all think, though, down below. Comment if you like. What are your thoughts on the Netherlands beating everybody to the punch with the episodes? And talk to you all later. God bless. Take care. I'm out.